Some people seem to really like the new Supergirl movie. Some people seem to really hate it. But one thing that pretty much everyone agrees on is that Lobo was kind of thrown in there, didn't really serve a purpose for the plot. So although he's a cool character and maybe you enjoyed him, the general criticism has been, what did he actually do to help move the plot along? What's interesting to me is even if that's all true, he does some really interesting and important work from a philosophical perspective that could move the movie from being kind of a fun, popcorn theater film to something very thoughtful, making some important statements. I think there are ways in which Lobo is both showing some of the deepest notions of moral responsibility in the movie and possibly the most feminist character of the film. So let me explain. Hear me out. So, number one, Lobo seems to really help provide what is called in philosophical circles the gift of death. And that doesn't mean going around and killing other people. You probably already know this if you do some philosophy. The gift of death is this idea where you give a gift only when the other person doesn't really know that they're receiving a gift and you are enabled to receive some sort of credit for it. In other words, if you give a gift and the other person's like, thank you so much, well, you've gotten something in return. So it's really just an exchange. So the most true, pure way to give a gift would be if the person never knew they got it. So they never can give thanks, but maybe even you don't even maybe realize that you've given it. So you can't even give yourself credit. Well, how does that connect to Lobo? Well, Kara does this really interesting thing, right? She goes and, spoilers, by the way, she goes and she commits murder. At the end of the film, she decides that Krem needs to die. She's going to do this, though, in a way that spares Ruthye. Technically, this is the gift of death. In fact, it's kind of a literal version of it. She actually kills Krem. She does it in a way that Ruthye cannot see that she's being given this gift, that the moral responsibility of this murder, the removing this horrible person from existence, the pain and the trauma and all of that is something that Ruthye doesn't ever know she's being spared because Kara takes it on. There's a way of looking at it as if Kara's taking on the sin for herself. The guy does need to go, but he's also not currently a danger to anyone. He's unarmed. So it is, in fact, actually a kind of murder. Ruthye will never know, in theory, that she's been spared this, and Kara gives her this gift. Now, you might argue, well, she kind of gets to give herself credit for it, so it's not a pure gift of death. But what happens is you see Lobo up there watching it. Now, Lobo kind of gives a lot of people took that to be almost like a man giving permission for a woman to do violence. But Kara never sees him. She never knows. At most, he's an audience proxy, like those of us who are like, yeah, Krem did need to go. So what's actually happening here is he's not giving any kind of gift to her directly at all. She can never know. He probably just thinks that he's enjoying a murder, but what does he actually do? And so this is the second thing that's really smart. So when Kara does this whole killing, part of what she does is actually incredibly patronizing. Right? She makes a decision for Ruthye that Ruthye can't handle it, says this isn't the kind of thing a person should do, basically, right? A cold-blooded murder of an unarmed villain. And then she goes around and does it herself. So this is generally something that you would consider to be kind of paternalistic. Oh, well, you can't handle this, so I'll take it on for you. But it's also generally something that would be considered a little bit kind of not feminist dialogue. And by all that I mean by that is some theorists kind of view it as, okay, when you're kind of talking at someone, we view that as something as a masculine dialogue, but when we're talking with people, we're including them in the consensus that is often considered to be a more feminine form of dialogue. Now, you don't have to agree with that. That's fine. That's just kind of how people tend to label it. What's interesting is she engages in a far more masculinized, paternal form of dialogue. She says, oh, you can't really handle this kid. And then she doesn't even tell the child that she's going to go and do this other thing for her. So she gets to kind of take it all on herself. The point, though, is that Lobo is up there watching it. So what Kara does, she never actually does by herself. So remember, the gift of death kind of duplicates, right? It has a quality in which I don't know that I'm getting a gift, so I can't thank you, but also the gift giver can't give themselves credit because maybe they don't even realize that they themselves are giving a gift. So it's pure. Well, Kara is giving this gift to Ruthye that Ruthye doesn't know about, but Kara can kind of give herself credit. But Lobo is watching and giving Kara the gift of not having this be actually an alone moment, of being a moment of kind of helping alleviate the weight of her sin without her knowing. But he's also probably not doing that intentionally, so he doesn't know that he's giving the gift. So he's giving a gift to her that she doesn't know, and he doesn't know that he's giving, while she's giving a gift to Ruthye that Ruthye doesn't know that she's giving, while Ruthye is trying to give Krem a gift of not killing him in the first place, though he does get killed, though he doesn't know that he's getting any of these gifts. So the whole thing is really incredibly smart, of all these gifts that are given without people knowing that they're giving or getting them. Now, I don't know if that's what they meant to do, but his presence there might actually make him the most feminist character in the film by virtue of being the person who helps create a community of the experience of the witness of a gift that can only be given when all of the participants do not know that they're receiving or giving gifts. Super smart stuff. Okay, thanks so much. Let me know what you think. If you agree or disagree, please do like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you have a wonderful day.